Chapter 24. The Queen of Nothing. The soldiers had taken their time eating cake and drinking their tea. It wasn't until sunrise that Mrs. Tittlebottom saw them off with baskets bursting with ham and cheese sandwiches, a walnut cake, chocolate cookies, and other baked treats. "Thank you, Mrs. T," called one of the soldiers as they started back to the kingdom. "Goodbye, dears," she said, waving them away with a big smile on her face until she saw them disappear over the bridge. Gothel was waiting for her at the cellar door when she opened it. "You poor dear, come out of that cellar." "You were very impressive with those soldiers, Mrs. T. You really were. I think you've dispelled any notions that the Queen of the Dead lingers here." "And does she?" asked the old woman. "Never mind," she said. "I don't want to know." "I'm the Queen of Nothing," said Gothel, sitting on a chair and catching her breath. "Was that you lurking out there in the field, my lady? I thought it was you, but—" Gothel sighed. "I'm afraid that's another question you'd rather I not answer." "Too right. Well then, what will you do now?" she asked, getting fresh teacups from the shelf and taking out the tea tin. "I'm going to take the flower back. I'm going to the kingdom. I'm going to sneak in the castle, and I'm going to take the flower back." "After all of this? After letting them take it, you're going to go right after them and take it back? I'm sorry, my lady, but are you batty?" "You've come to a point where you're either going to hear the entire story or you agree to trust that I know what I'm doing and not ask me any questions. We can't have it both ways. Even if you do steal it, what makes you think they won't just come back here at looking for it and bother the sweet little old lady who sent them home with half the larder? An old woman who didn't even know she had the flower to begin with? I don't think so." Mrs. Tittlebottom seemed to be taking what Gothel was saying into consideration. True, she said, filling the kettle with water and putting it on the stove. "I think you're right. Now listen, you don't have to stay if you don't wish. I wouldn't blame you, Mrs. T. What you did last night was very dangerous, and I appreciate it. I really do. So if you're uncomfortable with what I'm about to do, I completely understand. Just do me this one favor. Please stay here until I get back. You are free to go after I return if you're afraid the soldiers will put it together that it was me who took the flower." Has this to do with what you have hidden down in that cellar? I do want to know what it is. Or do I want to know what it is? I will tell you if you really want me to." "No, Gothel. I don't think I do."